Hello, everybody, and today I got a very special guest with me, very special interview, and it is 16th overall draft pick by the Arizona Diamondbacks in the 2019 MLB draft from Lakeside School in Seattle, Washington, Corbin Carroll. Corbin, thank you so much for joining me today. Um, and I just want to just kind of tell people, that may not be huge baseball fans, just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Thank you. And you want me to just talk a little bit about myself?
Yeah. Brag
Yeah.
about yourself a little bit.
So I play for the Arizona Diamondbacks, like you said. Grew up in Seattle, Washington, and then in 2019 came out here to Arizona. Worked through the farm system. Played in Hillsboro, Oregon, Amarillo, Texas, and Reno, Nevada, and then ended up debuting last year for a couple games, and yeah, in my first big league spring training this year.
Yeah, I got the chance to see you play last year. Um, when you got called up, very cool. But you made your debut on August 29th, 2022. But let me just share some the stats you recorded because it's pretty impressive. In just 32 games last year, you had a 133 WRC plus. You batted 260 and finished with 1.4 F4. I'm a bit of a analytical nerd, so I use some of those, but very, very fantastic numbers. And I mean, I just you're gonna have a great year this year. I just know it.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
so let me just ask you a couple questions here. So you were committed to play for UCLA, but obviously you got drafted by the Diamondbacks. Can you just tell me a little bit about that recruitment process and what it was like and why you chose UCLA?
Yeah, so I think going into kind of this after right before freshman year of high school, guys were starting to get some looks, in Washington on my team, and just talk to a few schools, nothing too crazy, and then it was really after my freshman year that that process kind of picked up, and I had my list of priorities. I kind of wanted to be on the West Coast, go to an academic school, and just have good relationships with the coaches. And UCLA checked those boxes for me, along with you know being in SoCal isn't too bad either. So it just checked a lot of boxes for me. And at the end of the day, I guess the most important part was they got some great coaches over there. I think they're actually the only coaches still in the Pac-12 from when I went through that recruiting.
Absolutely. So what was your experience like in the minor leagues and how did it help shape the player and person that you became today?
Yeah, I think the minor leagues is all about kind of a testing, a battleground, right? In which you get to go out there and sharpen some skills that hopefully, one day you sharpen enough for those to translate to the big league level. And so, eh, you know, there's all sorts of experiences in the minor leagues that I can talk about, but I think the biggest one is just the teammates, right? Like I got super lucky to have some great teammates that made that time in the minor leagues just really fun for me. And that's not always the case for everyone. There's a lot of it's a lot of games. It's long days. Travel isn't always the best. The food isn't always the best. The accommodations aren't always the best. Um, but I think just maintaining that positive perspective of, I get to be out here playing the game I love with some pretty cool guys. It just made the time really enjoyable. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I got there.
Was there any player that you tried to model your game after or was an inspiration to you growing up?
All sorts of guys, when I was growing up, it was kind of like it was like Trout, Harper.
Yeah.
Those were the guys. But Altuve, Yelich.
You're making me feel so old because I also grew up with those guys. Like, I,
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm 22, so I
yeah,
you know not not too much ahead of you, I guess. What are
Yeah.
you, 18, 19?
19, yeah. So I mean,
Nice.
we watched the same guys basically
Yeah.
growing up.
Yeah.
So
So, but and then growing up in Seattle, Griffey was a little bit before my time, but you saw some pretty solid baseball players in Ichiro, Felix Hernandez,
yeah.
you know, yeah.
Um, so let's get back to a little bit more about the minor leagues. The Diamondbacks farm director Josh Barfield has stated that you have that Mamba mentality, and you're singularly focused on being a great player. Can you speak more about how you have that Mamba mentality?
Yeah, I think I keep my main thing's baseball, right? And so I keep my main thing the main thing in the sense that I'm not doing a ton of stuff outside of baseball. I just I, I get to do what I love, and so there's not much that I want to do outside of baseball, right? And so I think just having a lot of discipline in that, you know, I'll go out there do the same thing every day for a year, and it doesn't feel like work to me. It feels it feels like fun. I'm doing what I want to do and doing what I love, and I think just when you find a passion like that, that it makes work not feel like work. It helps you push a little further because it's not taxing you as much as it might tax someone else. Yeah.
Definitely. Here's a little bit of a sort of funny question, but Alec Thomas, your teammate, you share the outfield with him. Alec Thomas recently said to the media that he does not like the face that you make when you're running the bases. And this is what Alec said. He looks like he's been on the toilet for about 10 to 15 minutes when he really needs to get this last one out and he just can't. That's what it looks like. Have you ever noticed the faces that you make while you're running the bases, or was this the first time you've heard about it?
Yeah, I mean, like I get pictures all the time or whatever from like the game photographers, and yeah, there's definitely some funny faces in there.
um, so you obviously made your big league debut, number two prospect in all of baseball. Um, who was the toughest pitcher that you faced? It could be from the majors, the minors, or in high school. Who's the toughest pitcher that you faced?
Probably Taylor Rogers.
He's no, Trevor's the one with the funky windup, right?
Yeah, Taylor's the lefty.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I thought. Um oh, but a follow-up question to that. Now that the MLB, every team plays everybody, is there any pitcher that you're kind of excited to face that you haven't faced before?
Um, I think just like the cool part to me is going to be when I get to face someone that I faced in high school or something like that. Maybe like a buddy or something. Just kind of for that full circle moment. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's like I try not to attach like a name to them. It's a ball coming at me, right? And
Yeah,
so I
definitely.
try not to get too caught up in all of that.
Whenever you were, in the bigs last year, was there ever a moment where you just went, "Wow, I'm doing it. I'm playing the same. I'm sharing a field with guys like Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis Jr., all those guys. Was that just like that you sunk it all in?
Um, Honestly, not really. And I know that's not like that's not like the a great answer, but I just not really. I tried to be very focused on the task at hand, and um, just I think that thinking in that way can maybe make the situation or the moment feel a little bit overwhelming, and just simplifying it down to what's your job and doing your job, I think helped me stay relaxed and feel good and confident and like I belonged.
It's the top of the second, one out, no one on base. You're in San Diego, stepping up to the plate against one of the best pitchers in the world, Yu Darvish. And the second pitch you see, you unleash on a 96 mile per hour four seam fastball. and send it 405 dead center. What was going through your mind as you just hit your first home run in the bigs? And what did you do with that ball when you got it?
What was I thinking?
Yeah.
I've got no idea. But I know once I got back to the dugout, they're giving me the silent treatment, and so I remember thinking like, all right, I gotta hold a straight face together, like I can't break first, like I gotta wait for them to break. But no, that ball's sitting back at home. I think Mama Carroll's got that one, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of your mom, the reason why I got in contact with you was because of your mom. My mom and your mom are sorority sisters, and they're good friends. So, shout out Corbin's mom for making this all happen. Um, but yeah, so that's all the questions I have. But there's one thing that I got from this interview. It's that you're dedicated to your craft, and you want to become as great as possible. So I salute you on that, and I can't wait to watch you play this year. I'm so excited because you're gonna kill it.
No, I appreciate that, and I'm glad that's what you took away from this. It's like that's what's important to me for sure. Is definitely just it's playing out of passion and love for the game. So I'm glad that kind of came off.
Once again, thank you, Corbin, for doing this. You do not have to do this, but I appreciate it so much. And for those at home listening, make sure to tune in to a lot of Diamondbacks games because that number 7 is going to be doing some wonderful things.